Americans of Reddit, what is something the rest of the world needs to hear? As a Canadian who has visited the States a fair bit, I'd say that, sure, the stereotypes exist, but they are the vast minority. The true majority of Americans are really very kind, down-to-earth, intelligent people. We hate the size of that gap space in our bathroom door stalls too. Animals in Yellowstone will kill you. Also, stay on the damn paths. I'm tired of hearing about tourists falling in the pools and dissolving. Solo cups come in a variety of colors. I'm American who immigrated when I was a toddler, but consistently traveled back and forth to my native land. I notice Americans, from what I've seen, take racism incredibly seriously, to the point I can say racism is worse outside of America. Racism in Asia and Europe is on a different level, one that is way worse than in the US. Probably due to America's deep historical and existential struggle with the topic. Water should always be free at restaurants. I remember when I was in Prague, we were out at a restaurant for dinner and 5 liters beer was cheaper than 5 liters water. No, in the South, we do not all have alligators in our backyards. If someone tells you otherwise, they're lying. There are no alligators in Ba Sing Se. That sounds a lot like something an alligator would say. You can ski and surf on the same day in California. Surf in the morning, ski after lunch, and then camp in the desert if you're really dedicated. Our state governments hold more power over our daily lives than the federal government. The laws can vary pretty significantly across state lines aside from commonalities like no murder, robbery, reckless driving, etc., and even those sometimes can be punished very differently from state to state. It's almost like 50 similar-minded neighboring nations, and a couple territories, under one union. Still, water and public bathrooms should be free around the world. The US doesn't do a lot of things right, but we generally have free water fountains and public bathrooms in most places. Aussie here. Every public park I see has free toilets and drinking fountains here too. I'm baffled people are paying to take a. We are not our government. Bison are not to be petted. Stay far away from them. Some of us do know our geography. When threatened, Americans will deploy a colorful neck shroud in a show of dominance and can spit venom up to 15. This country is big. People in this country get culture shock from moving within the same state and through different regions. This is, personally, why I find most generalizations of Americans funny. Also, stop asking people who say they're from NYC how many times they go to California. And vice versa. It's far and expensive lol every time I'm in Europe someone asks me this question. That a lot of us, most of us, in a lot of cases, do not support everything our government has ever done. Canadian here. Just want to say I think the USA is a wonderful place and that most of you are fantastic, kind, wonderful people. Americanized versions of food are still good and we still enjoy them. You don't have to tell us this isn't authentic country food. We know it isn't. Just because it's not exactly like the origin country's version doesn't make it bad. Food that immigrants bring and modify also have a rich history. Chop suey, tacos el pastor, and doner kebabs as examples. Fried chicken is exploding in Asia and you're already seeing Korean fried chicken make its way to the West. We aren't all just like you see on TV. We only have a few hundred years of recorded history, so yeah, we talk about our civil war, etc. because we haven't had 10 civil wars and thousands of battles and centuries of political suppression. Also, since we are so new, we do talk about our European/Asian/African heritage. I don't want to be car dependent. I have to be. If I could bike everywhere in a reasonable amount of time, I probably would. But biking to my work takes an hour because our cities sprawl so much and our bike paths are not good and car traffic usually is higher on priority lists than bikes, so our bike lanes are usually non-existent or minimal. And I live in one of the best cities/areas to bike in, according to some lists online. We eat other things besides McDonald's and fast food. Those videos of Americans not knowing basic facts like who the first president was or when the Civil War was or where a certain country is are all complete. 99/100ths people I know would get those answers right. Those videos either only use the dumb answers they get and cut the rest or pay people to act dumb. In accordance with human tradition, we own the moon. I'm Native American, so to my fellow countrymen and across borders, I may get some limited government benefits. My tribe is more important in that factor. I don't get free college, I do get tribal scholarships. I don't get easy free healthcare, have access, but it's in a format and location that makes it hard. I don't try to be unhealthy, but it's part genetics and part of my parents wanting me to not struggle, so didn't watch for perfectly healthy plates. Sometimes when young it was getting me fed. Yes, I'm different than y'all, but I'm also a person who bleeds and cries some days. America is huge. I've heard of people visiting the US and thinking they could see the Golden Gate Bridge in a day when staying in Ohio. That's a 2-day drive. Also, America has every type of environment. We have temperate climates, deep forests, mountains, beaches, volcanoes, deserts, swamps, bluffs, grass plains, lake towns and even jungles and rainforests in Puerto Rico. If you want to experience something, most likely America has it. And that was just in the USA. If you're referring to the American continent, then obviously there's more. 30 to 45 minutes is not a long drive, yet I hear of people in Europe not seeing family members for months over this time frame. My point of considering something a long drive is around 3 to 4 hours. My drive to work 5 days a week is 30 minutes each way itself. I and many people I know in the US will regularly drive 1.5 hours to see extended family on a weekend, or even just to go to a store we like. We hate our politicians as much as non-Americans do. We do indeed have a few good ones trying to do the right thing, but they are heavily outnumbered by both people/votes and money. It's not that we don't want to visit other countries, it's that for the majority of Americans, Canada and Mexico are a day or two drive away, and paying over $1,000 to get a round-trip ticket overseas isn't something a lot of people can justify buying. A lot of people here are actually pretty nice, financially struggling and just trying to get by, and strongly object to the government's cruelty. There are some brainwashed extremists, of course, like I'm sure every country has. But overall, yeah, we're just humans who would love world peace just like anyone else with the ability to rationalize with compassion. Hey, thanks for subscribing and liking. It really means a lot to me. While you are here, feel free to hop on over to the last video. See you there. Ronnie.